And I hope he just go out there, strap it up, and go to work. Have fun in the midst of doing it. I have no expectations. I know what he can do. He knows what he can do, and I just want him to have fun doing it.
Hello, hello, hello. Welcome onto the sideline, everybody. I'm Matt Dowell, joining you for another special episode of South Carolina Sideline. And I'm really, really excited for our interview this week. And it is another parent of a Gamecock superstar. You know, last week we had Roscoe Wilson, dad of Asia Wilson, on the show. And it was so successful, I thought, who is another parent that we could talk to about their perspective raising an athlete to become such a force and such a star, not only in Gamecock athletics, but really in the broad horizon of all sports. So Norris Sellers, dad of LaNorris Sellers, South Carolina's quarterback, joining the podcast this week. Really excited for this interview, for everyone to hear it. We're talking about his life growing up and raising LaNorris Sellers to be South Carolina's star quarterback. And if you guys are really liking this these parent interviews and getting the perspective of these parents, let me know, and we can get more parents of Gamecock superstars on the podcast and get their perspectives. So let me know in the comments if this is something that you guys are enjoying, because I love talking to the parents and getting their points of view. But Norris Sellers joining the show, and here is that interview with South Carolina quarterback LaNorris Sellers' dad, Norris Sellers. I'm joined by Norris Sellers for today's episode. Norris, I tell every guest this because I'm always so humbled by who says yes to come on the show. I'm so excited to have you on. I'm so honored to have you on to get to talk about your life and raising LaNorris to be this superstar. Like, it's been so cool to watch. So welcome to the show. I know you're joining us after work. I really, really appreciate you taking the time to talk to me.
Thank you, thank you. Glad to be here.
I know, and you're joining us from Florence, of course, where you guys live, where LaNorris and all his siblings grew up. You're getting off work. Before we get started, I know I want people to get to know you a little bit as well. What do you do for work? What is your job?
I drive trucks.
Okay.
So I have been blessed enough to always had a job where I was home. I could get to practice. I can get to the games. I wasn't this over the road truck driver, which is if I had to do that, I would, but I was just always blessed to fall in a position to where I could be home at night.
That's great. And that's been such a huge, obviously, for your family and getting them to where they are. And we're going to talk about LaNorris in a little bit. But again, I want to dive a little bit into your life and, how you have gotten to this point in your journey. So where were you born and raised? Where did life start for you?
I'm born and raised here in Florence all my life, pretty much on the south side of Florence. I attended South Florence as well, played football there. Uh, well, I played 3 years. I played my sophomore to my senior year. And yeah, just pretty much always grew up here in Florence.
What was life like in Florence back when you were a kid? And how is it different now in 2025?
A lot has changed. A lot has changed from uh from economic standpoint to cash out wasn't in existence when I was that age. That made it a whole lot easier to move money around. It seemed a lot simpler back then. We phones wasn't as needy. We actually went people houses, played outside. Video games were nowhere near as in high demand as it is now. So we actually did a whole lot of stuff outside.
I feel you on that because I remember back, in the day, growing up in the '90s, how we would all. I was outside all the time. I mean, all the time
Exactly.
growing up, and it was the best. You spoke about your time at South Florence. I know the Sellers family has such a legacy at that school. So, for your football journey, when did football become a part of your life? When did it start, and what has your journey with this sport been like?
Well, my my journey started, like I said again, in my 10th grade year. Uh, I I wasn't really one of the quote unquote popular kids, so um I had this built up anger in me. I had this. It was. I don't know. I mean, I didn't get in trouble, but I did have a lot of pent up anger. So I had some buddies of mine who played, and it was like, man, you just need to come out and try it. I didn't think my parents was going to allow me to do that, but you know how moms is. No, you ain't going out there and be tackling none of that. So I one day after school, I just stayed after school. I tried out for the football team, the JV team, my sophomore year, and we just ran through a couple of drills. We weren't really tackling then, and I I got a taste of it, and I was like, okay, I'm gonna come back a second day. So came back the second day again. Of course, in trials they don't let you tackle. So uh, I ended up making a team. I had a little speed from what the coaches said, so I ended up making a team. And then once I got to the tackling side of it, it was like I can actually hit people and not get in trouble for it. So I'm in. Like, yeah, I'm be here every day. So that kind of how my career of football started off. It went from my sophomore year and it just took off.
So it was like therapeutic in a way
It
for
was, it was, it was. It calmed me down. Uh, I I became a better person because I was releasing my anger not on other people as far as fighting, but on the football field.
Yeah. And so obviously then that continued. You have LaNorris and he's the oldest, right? Of the boy
He is.
he's the
Yes, he
oldest.
is.
So
Mhm.
he's the first. And when you had LaNorris, you obviously football became a big part of your life. When did football become a part of his life? When did you start introducing him to football?
So I I was a young dad. I wanted to find ways that we could hang out. I didn't really know a lot of outside activities like fishing or hunting and stuff like that. So my all I really knew was football. I played. I actually got a scholarship to Jawan College, and I played my freshman year. Got a start spot, and came home for the summer, and he was on the way. So once I found out he was on the way, I decided, I'm gonna just go to work. I'm gonna just pour into him, and I'm gonna just be there, for my kid. So my only way of me spending time outside of work, when I had spare time with him, was just knowing all I know, and that was football. So me and him, we used to just go out in the yard. He was when to the point where he about one till he can once he started walking, we was outside
Really, that early?
that early.
Wow.
And it was kind of a blessing because me and his mom was talking, we both were young. And we was like, if you gonna be outside, and if my parents knew this, they'll probably kill me. But that second one was playing. She was like, we need to get him somebody to play with. So we end up having Jaden. And so we had Jaden 2 years later. And we had Jaden outside at one, that made LaNorris three. And that was just my time of bonding. We would just go out there and they'll run routes and I tackle them and they'll throw the ball. And we were doing it that early.
So as a dad, obviously you're teaching them the game of football, but what are some of the things that you were teaching them that are maybe broader than just the X's and O's when they were that little?
Well, I look at football as kind of like a light military because I don't want to take away from the military. Um, uh, a military stance. So football teaches you about life. You have to be disciplined. You have to be respectful. It's a team job. There's no I in team. So therefore, you go out, you do your job, you help your man beside you. If he don't know what he's doing, you lead him and guide him, and you build on that every year. Every year you build on that, and you just work together to get to the finish line. And ultimately, hopefully, the finish line is a W. So therefore, it wasn't just teaching them football. It was just teaching them about life. You
Yeah.
have to be respectful. You have to do what you have to do what you have to do. Not what you need to do. You have to do what you have to do as a man, and you have to be a part of a team.
What was LaNorris like as a kid? Because those are such like foundational pieces to who he has become. What was he like as a kid? Because now, when we talk to him, he's so cool, calm, and collected. It's like nothing phases him ever. It's kind of like fascinating to watch, like on and off the field. So what was he like as a kid? Was he always like that?
He was always like that. My mom always used to say, that little boy been here before. That little boy been here before because he had that natural know of what's going on, even as a kid. I remember I came home from work one day and my mom, she was holding him because my mom owned the daycare. And me and his mom, we always used to play around. And I didn't hear it, but my mom swear he said, because I guess he thought I was doing something to his mom. Grandma put me down, but the kid was one. I was like, he did not say that. She was like, that boy just told me to put him down. And when she put him down, he came straight to me, and it was coming almost like a comment. So it was. I would say he has always been like that, and he always just had a natural know of what was going on around him.
It's amazing. And I mean, you see how that's impacting him as a quarterback, and it's
Yeah.
really, really unbelievable. I had Roscoe on last week, and he was talking about the dynamics between a father and a daughter that
Hmm.
when it becomes coaching and
Yeah.
how interesting that is. When I look at the father-son dynamic when it comes to sports, what was that dynamic like for you guys growing up when you're trying to teach him and also and be a coach, be a mentor, but also be a dad? How did that work?
So once we we realized, because I mean, ultimately to get this started, I really didn't want them to play football. I wanted them to kind of channel their way of, just because I did it, y'all don't have to do it. So I was gonna try them in all the sports, but I just put my little touches on it to make it fun in the beginning. And once they got up to finding their position and what they want to do, I backed off from coaches. So I feel like as a father, when it comes to your kids, you can't be a coach and a dad. Like you got to be one, especially male to male. You got to pick one. You're either gonna be one or the other. So I decided to step back and allow them to build a relationship with their coaches. Let them coach them the way they want to, and then I give my 2 cents on the back end.
I think that's a very healthy way of doing it because I know you've seen them. I've seen some crazy sports parents over the years and
Exactly.
that are just
Exactly.
so involved. So that
Exactly.
it sounds like it was a very healthy relationship between you and the coaches and your kids and everything, which
Mhm.
is great. At what point in his childhood did you know he was good? Like it wasn't just something that he did or played. When did you know he was good at football?
I mean, it might come as a shocker, but what the world seen from LaNorris last year, we seen from LaNorris when he was 5. So he had been doing this for a long time, and people used to come around and say, "Oh, that boy's gonna play on Sunday. He's gonna play on Sunday," and it's crazy to say that what they were saying back then is coming to fruition. That the same thing he been doing to the in these games in facility, he's doing in the SEC now, and I mean as a parent, I always been proud. I always knew that he was good, but he just amazes me every time he steps on the field.
Yeah, and it has to be such a thing to be proud of as a parent to just I tell people playing for a D1 like SEC team, that in itself is an accomplishment. It is so
It,
hard
it,
to get to that level and
it
then to
really is.
maintain it and then to grow and shine. Like I just feel like it's taken for granted. And I think I say it every episode of this podcast. I'm like, y'all, it is they don't just like roll up and do it. Like it takes so much work to get there.
It took a lot of work to get, and people don't realize how much work. Like I said, we started when they were 3-1, and when they said, "Dad, football is what we want to do," we got We got our preacher involved. We had them pray over them. We had them bless the relationships that they come against. Anybody who will help us. We pray that the Lord will help them to cross paths with us. And when I say he really did that, it took that, and then the people that we did, like his quarterback coach, Jaden's receiver coach. We met all these people through the opposition teams, like players from other teams that introduced us to these people, who, if we wasn't in the right headspace, we'd be like, man, ain't nobody, because we don't play it against y'all. Y'all don't beat us. We don't beat y'all. But we stayed the course. We stayed humble, and we met all these great people, and they were just telling us, okay, well, you need to get a nutritionist, you need to get a chiropractor, you need to have somebody who work with them to get them bigger, faster, and stronger. So, I mean, it's a lot to go into it.
You spoke about that, and one thing that stood out was the preacher in your life. How big is faith in your lives, and how big has it been in growing LaNorris as a man?
We wouldn't have been here without it. A lot of tough days, a lot of long nights. Uh, I mean, you seen him run. I mean, sometimes we holding our breath. Like he just got his block knocked off. He should be laying out there, but the Lord has kept us.
That's really powerful, and I think I just think that's an important part of the journey for
It
LaNorris
is.
and for you guys, and to point that out. So LaNorris obviously commits to South Carolina, goes there as a freshman, is under Spencer Rattler. How important was it for LaNorris to have Spencer Rattler to kind of watch, to go through all of what he had to go through to prepare him for where he is now?
We couldn't ask for a better guy for him to sit behind. Man, when I first met Spencer, you know, and just a quick side note,
Go for it.
the things that they were saying about Spencer prior to, I never seen it. Spencer is the nicest kid, and to be in the position he was in, he didn't have to, come back and help LaNorris or even, take time with us, but he did. And I thought it really elevated LaNorris's game, sitting behind a guy like Spencer, who pretty much put the team on his back. He didn't have everything he needed around him, and he handled it like a champ. Like he never had a bitter mood or upset or talk down to the team. Whenever they didn't lose, he took the rap for it. We lost. That's on me. I mean, and like I told LaNorris, I was like, coming from a winning team from high school into the SEC, you got to know how to handle that type of pressure. And to watch Spencer handle that, I think LaNorris really needed that.
I tell people that too, because people like to talk about stars or whatever as if they know them, and I'm like, you guys really don't know them. Like you
Yeah.
don't know them in as people. You see them, and you have this perception of them, but you don't actually know them. So they are people, and so I thought that's really interesting to let people know. Spencer's one of those guys that had a lot of things said about him over the years.
He did.
And so that was an interesting tidbit there. So last season, obviously Spencer moves on. LaNorris is the guy,
Mm-hmm.
and things explode. Like, I mean, he just becomes this massive star. And I know some people here were like, I didn't know who LaNorris was a year ago. And now he's everywhere. I mean, his face,
Yeah.
his name, it's pretty fascinating to watch. What was it like for you to watch this season to where LaNorris kind of went from a guy that like not a lot of people were really taking seriously to then suddenly being like the guy in the SEC?
It again. I was pretty much like everybody else because I was amazed. I felt like I knew he was good, but I knew it would also take time.
Mm. It's a
Did I
process.
expect? Yeah, it's definitely a process, and that's the example I give. Because we sit back and we heard all from the first game of the season up until the fourth game when we lost to Ole Miss. Oh, he trash, get him out of here. Like we heard all that. And you have your naysayers who were, yeah, pack him up, get him out of here. But then you also have the ones who watched them were like, just wait. And I was one of those, just wait. And I'm saying in my head because me as a person, as a parent, I don't point out the bad things you did well. I feel like it's better to. That's what the coach is for. Uplift them, hug them. You did a good job. The most important thing is you made it out of this the same way you went into it, because it could be different. So to watch him, it was almost breathtaking. It was very emotional to say the least, and it was just fun to watch because then you want to go back to everybody you seen and you wish you had their numbers and be like, well, what is all that mess you was talking at the beginning of the season? So yes.
When you say it was really emotional, what kind of emotions were you feeling during all of that?
It was very heartfelt because you talking about a kid who had a season-ending injury in 11th grade, who they were saying then he'd never play football again. So to see him go through that, we prayed, God brought him through that, put him on this platform, or he could have been playing in New York in the snow, in the cold. Like it's so many different levels of scenarios that the way this could have played out. But to seeing him do it at such a high level at home was just amazing.
Do you have a favorite moment from last season? Because there's a lot of them. There was a lot of big ones last year. Do you have a favorite?
My favorite moment was the Missouri game when Luther Burden caught that pass at the end of the game.
Okay.
And I tell people, I always ask them, what song did they play right after he scored? And nobody knows.
Wait, I don't know either. What was it?
Rocky Balboa.
Oh.
I was like, that was the perfect timing. And there was a guy that was sitting behind me. I'm getting goosebumps thinking about it now. It was a guy that was sitting behind me. He was like, they left too much time on the clock. And you look up and it's like, what you mean? It's a minute and 15 seconds. Ain't no way. And they came out and went to work. They went to work. And when they scored, it felt like an earthquake in there.
Yeah.
The building literally shook for like 5 to 10 seconds. It was crazy. That was probably the best moment of the season.
That's cool. And that's funny because that's not what I thought you were going to say. So that's funny. Everyone talks about the Clemson, so I just assume that it would be the Clemson.
Nah.
No.
He already said he wasn't going to lose that game. Nah. He said that.
So he was determined. He was determined to beat Clemson?
He said at the beginning of the season, yeah, he's not losing to Clemson. No.
Well, hey, he kept his word on that one. Going off of that, I think every parent watches their kid in different ways. Some are super intense. Some don't want to watch. Some are like pacing, across the living room, whatever it is. What kind of watcher are you?
I am the pacer. So I tell people, don't talk to me when they're playing. Do not talk to me. And it's crazy because my phone will literally ring and text from the start of a game to the end. I could get there with 100% charge, and by the time I leave, my phone is completely dead. From people in the game watching the game, from people at home watching the game, and I'm literally locked in. I don't enjoy the game until either on my way home looking at the clips of the game, or when I get home listening to the press conference, because I'm zeroed in and it's like boom, hut, tackle, get up, get up, get up. And I'm not like that with just mine. It's like because every kid on the team I done built some sort of relationship with. So it's like, hurry up and get up. Once they get up, okay, boom, next play. So I'm doing this the entire game. And when the game is finally over, it's a sigh of relief. And I can't tell you what happened in the game at all until I go back and either rewatch it, because I always rewatch it either on Monday or Sunday night. So that's how I know what happened.
So the big message is everyone stop texting Norris during the games. The
Please.
anxiety's already like high. Like just leave him alone. Text him after. Let him, get some dinner.
Exactly. I'm already a nervous wreck. So yes.
I honestly, I can't imagine. I just know as a sports fan, anxiety is already high. I can't imagine being the parent of the quarterback during these games. LaNorris' star has risen so much, and he even said during SEC Media Days that his life has completely changed in the last 12 months. Like everywhere he goes, he's recognized. He's just exploded. And fame and money can change people in a lot of ways. And so for you as his dad, how do you make sure that when all of the fame and everything is being thrown at him, that he as a person does not change in the process?
We just try to keep it normal. We try to keep family members, other outsiders from continuing to contact them. We try to put the small fires out before they get to him. So because we want him to be he's 20 now. We want him to be 20 years old, and when he was, because this was kind of happening when he first left, so he was 18. And it was bad then, but not as bad as it is now. I mean, we went to New Orleans to the camp, the Manning camp, and people recognized him all in the airport down in New Orleans. It's like, you ain't from around here, but we try to keep the small fires from getting to him, to keep him from getting overwhelmed and feeling like he have to extend himself more than what he would have if he was a normal 20-year-old. So we just whenever I call him, like say if, I normally I try to talk to him and Jaden every day. So whenever I call him, it's not about football. It's how was your day? How was class? Is everything going your way? Completing all your assignments? Other than that, if he has something about football that he wants to get off his chest, I let him bring it to me.
I can't imagine. College is already a lot when you're just like a normal everyday kid.
Yeah.
So I can't imagine having to do that and then add on everything that he deals with. He's talked about how much his life has changed in the past year. How has your life changed in the last year?
Pretty much about the same.
Really?
Yeah, me, his mom, we can't go nowhere without them, somebody recognizing us. And it's like, well, dog, I mean, we don't even blame. But we have to walk that path, we don't really do nothing out of the way, go to work, come home, but at work it's y'all going to the game? If y'all going to the game, can y'all get this sign? Can y'all get that sign? It's like, listen.
Yeah.
He has signings, come to his signing, because he do not like us bringing that stuff home.
Yeah.
He said, when I come home, I want to relax. Everybody knows I doing my signing. So other than that, it's crazy. It's a great lifestyle, and it's definitely different. And I like the fact that Netflix did the Any Given Saturday, because that lets the fans know that we as teammates, family, like the coaches, there's a lot of pressure in this lifestyle. It's a whole lot of pressure.
And you need like a break from being like the Sellers family.
Yeah,
I mean, like you
yeah.
see that we just want to be people. I get it. And I know too, like with my job, because when people find out I'm a sports anchor, they
Mm,
want to talk to me about sports. And I'm like, I talk about sports like all the time, like all the
exactly.
time. Like I'm happy to do it, but like, can we just like watch TV? Like I can't say that, but I that's how I feel when I'm like, oh, I really don't want to get into everything.
Yeah,
I do it for a living. So I kind of relate to it in
yeah.
that sense. LaNorris spoke about at SEC Media Days just his love for South Carolina and just what the program means to him. And he and Beamer seem to have such a great relationship. What is it about South Carolina that just fits for LaNorris?
It's home. I mean, it's home. Uh it just it's just home. I mean, I always tell them, like, when we were going on this recruiting trail, I would ask that question every college that we went to. Like, when you walk in the building, what does it feel like? Does it feel like you're supposed to be there? And when we first got to South Carolina, it just felt like we were supposed to be there. And even though the very first time we went, he wasn't offered, but that feeling just always stuck. And now that he's there, it just and like it's just the best decision that he could have made to go there. It's the best decision. Everything works in his favor, and it don't matter the position. It's the people there. It's the running back coach, it's the lineman coach, it's Demo. Uh, Everybody is just that Southern hospitality.
Yeah.
It's home.
Yeah, and he's a born and raised South Carolina kid, and he's close to you guys, which also has to be huge. I mean, Florence,
It is.
not that far away, which has got to be nice for him to kind of have
Yeah.
a place to go and just get away from it all.
Yeah.
As we wrap up our conversation, there are so many expectations for LaNorris this season. Everyone talking about the Heisman and all this hype that he's getting. What are you hoping for him this season as his dad and as a fan of his football, but really as his dad? What are you hoping for him for this season?
And I hope he just go out there, strap it up, and go to work. Have fun in the midst of doing it. I have no expectations. I know what he can do. He knows what he can do, and I just want him to have fun doing it.
It's all that matters, and stay healthy. As the
And,
dad, you
and
guys just
stay
stay
healthy.
healthy.
Exactly.
Like
Exactly.
I can't imagine, just everything that you guys feel watching your kid. It has to be. I know that it's really like just getting started. Last
Yeah.
year was really just kind of felt like the beginning. He's got so much left, but you have to be so proud of him as his dad to watch him and everything that he's navigating because it can't be easy as a 20-year-old to navigate what he's having to do.
It's not. It's really not. I don't see how he does it, how he juggles the team and all goes with that, as well as class, still trying to be a teenager slash 20-year-old. I don't see how you do it.
I don't either. I don't either. I don't either. I struggle just to go to class, just being a normal
Exactly.
20-year-old. So I don't know how any of these college athletes do it. Norris, before we wrap up, is there anything else you'd like to add about this conversation, about your life? Raising LaNorris, about your life in general. I'll let you end the conversation today.
Well, I mean, honestly, we're ordinary people put in a position to where, you know, we could be to fans, we can be available when needed
Mm-hmm.
because we were in this position one time. He had other athletes that he was in love with that he could never reach out and touch. So we are grateful for the opportunity to play at University of South Carolina. We're grateful for every event we can go to and put smiles on little LaNorris's face. And we are just, all around happy to be here. And whatever the future brings, whether it's the Heisman, whether it's the NFL, or 2 more years at South Carolina, we just happy to be in the midst of it, and we're grateful for the opportunity, and we just thank God that we're here.
Norris, I'm so happy for you. I'm happy for your family and everything that's coming your way. You guys are so beloved in Columbia. I hope you feel that love, from all the
We do.
fans and from everyone. I know there has to be times where it's overwhelming, but I just hope you guys feel that. And again, I'm very, very honored that you said yes to coming on our podcast. I'm very honored that you said yes to talking to me.
For sure.
And hopefully you'll come back sometime. I hope you had a good time. I enjoyed talking to you. It flew by.
Hey, anytime you want me on, I'm a phone call away. Like I say, we love South Carolina. We love Columbia. Like I told his mom, we might as well live there because we're always down there.
Yeah.
And we love all the fans here from Florence and everybody, and we just thankful that they feel the same way that we feel about them.
Well, I'll make you a deal. If I text or call you, I will not do it during the game.
Feel free.
I will let you be in peace. Of course, thank you so much. I so appreciate you coming on. And I hope you have a great day, and I hope you enjoy the season. I hope it's not too stressful for you.
It will be, but thank you. Thank you for having me. I'm glad to be here. Glad for the opportunity.
Want to thank Norris Sellers for coming on our podcast. Expecting a big season for LaNorris, and I know their whole family is excited and just thrilled with the way his career is going, and expecting big things for LaNorris. Excited to see how this season plays out. Thank you guys for watching. Thanks for listening. As always, make sure you like, subscribe, comment, follow here on YouTube or wherever you listen to our podcast. This is another edition of South Carolina Sideline. We'll be back next week. New episodes on Tuesday and Thursday, and next week, South Carolina women's soccer head coach Shelly Smith is joining our show. We'll talk their new season and her career as one of the greatest Gamecock coaches of all time. She's won a lot of games, everybody. So excited to have Shelly for our conversation next week. Have a great day. Have a great weekend. Have, just the best time doing whatever you're doing out there. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. We'll see you next week here on South Carolina Sideline.